turned around. A couple hiccups. So you never know. With this game, I want to quickly touch on LCS Fantasy.
Okay, what do you got?
Just real quick, because I had a strategy that I backed off on because I made a JLXP league on Fantasy that I was asking people to join, and I didn't want to be like last place in that league because this was a high-risk strategy.
Okay.
But I'm really annoyed after how this game went. If your players do really well in LCS Fantasy, your salary cap will go up the next week. Okay. And I thought of all the matchups, this would be the highest possibility of having every player pop off. So my first iteration was literally 5 TL players in spawn. Just all in
full Team Liquid. It's literally just Team Liquid.
If FlyQuest starts losing, oh my god, Team Liquid's going to have a lot of points. And that's exactly what happened in Game 1. Everyone on Team Liquid popped off.
Oh, yeah.
Instead, I only have Yeon. And everyone else on broadcast has more Team Liquid players.
Yeah, I got Josedeodo.
I know you do.
So yeah, we're chilling here. But let's see what we get here in the second draft. How can FlyQuest change this up, bounce back after game number 1? It's Jarvan, Jace, and Ezreal banned out by TL. It's Varus, Karma, and Orianna banned out by Fly.
The great answer to the question of how can they change this up is they don't even need to try, and it's going to be different thanks to Fearless. No more salty runbacks. We don't have to say, hey, why did they give up Ashe Seraphine with Karma banned? Well, they can't do it again because there's no way they're allowed to play Ashe Seraphine, and that ended up being a pretty big problem. This time, though, they're going to have their duo of Corki Nami likely against Yunara Lulu. This is more of a handshake matchup where both sides can have some good scaling. So to me, the Ashe Seraphine, unless you're throwing Ezreal Karma against it, I just feel like it's oppressive. But the 1-2-3 is also very solid from Team Liquid here, where they have a cookie cutter bot lane and one of the best junglers on the patch.
Yeah, exactly. And Josedeodo had a great game number 1. He was very far ahead of his opponent the entire time. He was able to find a lot of value with all of his Pantheon ultimates. And what I pointed out in the draft of game number 1, which is having the Ashe with the Hawk Shot plus the arrow combined with a semi-global ultimate jungler just feels so good if you can hit that synergy. And I feel like Team Liquid did it wonderfully. Again, I still don't actually think Yeon missed any arrows.
No, I don't think so either. I'm going to have to ask him afterwards if there's one that we missed on camera, but that was one of the most accurate Ashe performances I have ever seen. Not all the arrows were kill arrows. You could argue that he was just like juicing the stats by taking easy shots.
Just thump that one.
Yeah, absolutely. But he still, I was not seeing the miss.
All right, well, this time around, we have a big old meatball in the jungle. I respect the fandom here at the Riot Games Arena today. We've got the Mundo locked in for Gryffinn. We saw one of the first kills that Team Liquid got in game number 1 was Gryffinn. It was the second kill of the game, was Gryffinn like just kind of walking into the brush, not really respecting that Team Liquid would have control over the bot side river. Mundo is one of the junglers that you can be more confident about face checking with.
You definitely can, or you can just throw your cleaver in there, see if anyone's meandering around that zone. And we saw Cryo play this yesterday. We've seen plenty of Mundos just get absolutely out of control, but those are also in situations where the other team is a little bit low on damage. I feel like Mundo is one of those picks that works best when you're a little bit later in the draft and you see they're going to have a hard time either buying Grievous or killing you, and then you can lock it in. This does feel a little bit early for me, but I understand with the carry potential of this pick if you get going, why Gryffinn would pick it early.
Okay, so let's check what we've got in our second half of the bans here, because with both sides clearly drafting bottom lane duos and junglers, there's really not much flex pick opportunity anywhere in these first 6 picks. So we're really looking at solo lanes in our second half of picks and bans here. The Gwen and Ryze both banned away, and the Vayne banned out by FlyQuest. This is a pick that, you know, 6 months ago would just be a phantom whisper in the back of people's minds, but now it is something that is kind of picked in more niche situations, and Vayne kind of kills every character in the game in 9 auto attacks.
Yep.
Even if it's Mundo, sometimes.
It's true.
So
I just love the progression specifically this year of Vayne in the LCS, where Sentinels accidentally picks it, and we have to remake the draft. And then that playoffs, it's picked on purpose. Keen picks it on purpose at first stand, and yesterday it's picked on purpose as an AD carry. So it's
it's evolving.
Now I think it's getting banned on purpose.
So there's no way that's an accidental ban. Just guys, sorry, I clicked Vayne. Didn't mean to do that. They're trying to keep the tank busting away from the Dr. Mundo. Last ban in this one is going to be Aurora, taken off the table by Team Liquid, and FlyQuest is going to lock in the Gnar blind for Gakgos.
Understandable. Renekton is up if they wanted to handshake that matchup with Morgan, but it would be kind of picking into a counter pick. I wonder if Morgan wants to play a little bit more ambitiously with his choice here. And they're also going to have to blind pick QUID's mid lane. I'm hoping we get a more dynamic matchup than Annie versus Galio for the battle of the QUD mid laners.
Yeah.
Because that was a big letdown for us in game 1. And at least top lane is going to be pretty interesting with the Yorick into the Gnar.
Sorry, I heard the collective sigh from the crowd when the Shyvana wasn't locked in.
We're not going to see Shyvana.
No,
I'm sorry,
you're not going to get
just...
Shyvana. It's not going to happen. You can't trust these pro players. If they're hovering something for like 30 seconds straight, they don't even flip over to something else as a troll hover, you know they're not going to lock it. They never do that.
They never do it, especially with Sylas up. You'd just be giving the win to the other team.
Yeah, that's what I've heard is the best thing about Shyvana is if you know how to play Sylas and you see her locked in, you just win for free.
Pretty much. Just become a giant dragon for free.
Well, we do have the Yorick locked in, so some powerful split push here for Team Liquid. Azir in the mid lane. Back over on the other side, though, the Xerath for Quad.
Okay, now, it's suddenly become a poke comp. So Xerath definitely, on paper, beats the Azir, because even if the Azir is stronger, the Azir can't reach the Xerath from very long range. And if you look at the overall engaged profile of Team Liquid, it's pretty low. They all kind of have to walk at you. So potentially Mundo, Gnar, Xerath, Corki, Nami can be a very good poke comp. I'd say, based on the players in this game, you'd expect it to be incredibly bloody. Based on these team compositions, it's actually what you need to play fairly slowly. So in theory, on paper, I like what FlyQuest has. I don't know if it matches the way they want to play the game, though.
I'm happy whenever we get to see characters that aren't super... Anytime we lock in a character and I have to double check real quick and bring up the League of Legends wiki to make sure that I know the ability names, like I just had to do for Xerath.
Yeah.
Arcano Pulse is... it's a unique... Yeah, we've got Arcano Pulse. Arcano Pulse is the laser. That's the one that's going to happen most of the time. The slowing thing is Eye of Destruction. Shocking Orb is the stun. Rite of the Arcane is his artillery barrage thing. But Arcano Pulse is the one that sounds cool to say.
That is a good one.
So, yeah, that's the one we're going to be relying on. But I do enjoy seeing these types of champions that only get picked in rare situations. These types of characters that are very skewed towards exactly the thing that they do well, because they're drafted into a situation where it's like, no, that's exactly what we do.
I do also have a memory of a game that happened last year when QUID was on 100 Thieves. He played up against Palafox's Xerath when he was on Shopify Rebellion, went 100 CS up on him, and then Palafox won the game. Because they just kept ulting from like a mile away, and QUID's 100 CS lead meant nothing. So
scary, man.
I can understand what Quad was thinking here now with Comet Xerath. And again, we know these guys are going to be fist fighting in bot lane the whole time.
I remember a game that I casted with you, actually, back in 2018. That was Echo Fox versus Dignitas with old Urgot before he got reworked.
Oh, jeez.
And it was during a very slow meta, and there was no kills on the board at 15 minutes, and we just started using Urgot ability names as they were back in the day. With the Zon Touch, Bolt Augmenter, and the Hyperkinetic Position Reverser, all of that nonsense. So just brings a little warm nostalgia to the mind, seeing these strange ability names.
I feel like Hyperkinetic Position Reverser can come back on any kit. I think it's an amazing ability that needs to be in League of Legends somewhere.
You want it back?
I want it back.
Okay.
I think it's an incredible tank ability.
It was definitely very interesting because it gave you also so much armor.
Yeah, I want to talk about the best QUD mid laner in NA.
Okay, what do we got?
Well, QUID versus Quad. Amazingly, 14 game wins for Quad, but a lot of that is because he's on that dominant FlyQuest team, and QUID oftentimes during the regular season was struggling on 100 Thieves. But I also want to hear what fans think, aside from these records, who the best QUD mid laner is as bot lane battles.
Yeah, Yeon and CoreJJ on the losing into that battle. It's first blood over to Massu and Cryogen. Immediately, both kills go to Massu. Win becomes lightning as Josedeodo gets one back. Prevents absolute tragedy for TL. But Massu and Cryogen, Jatt, you were talking in game number 1 about how these guys are getting so many 2v2 kills. There's 2 more.
That's 4 2v2 kills this series against Team Liquid. That gives them 11 on the year already. That's insane by Massu and Cryogen going all in at the right time. Potentially, Yeon and CoreJJ knew Jose had done a modified jungle path and they were going to try and pull it off, but they just baited too hard. So this is extra bad because, yes, Jose gets 1 kill out of it, but Masu's fed and the Mundo is going to be off to the races. So look at this. Xin 3-camp bot side into bot gank. So he's leaving his top camps completely open. Massu just gets a full charge Gatling gun and they just straight up have better stats with barrier heal, and Jose is not nearly in time enough. So yes, they get the kill, but come on, that's insane by Massu and Cryo.
Yeah, that was absolutely exactly what the doctor ordered for the FlyQuest bottom side 2v2. As back up here in the top lane, whenever Yorick is in the game, like you have champions in League of Legends that are better at split pushing than team fighting, but I feel like Yorick is the furthest end of one of those poles of scaling where this champion just does not ever want to be in team fights. He only wants to split push. So I'm curious how well Team Liquid is going to be able to effectively utilize him in this game.
They might be diving, and the Yorick might not matter.
Oh man, Yeon and Core are in some trouble. Gryffinn's gonna go ahead, start off the dive down here. Yeon tries to flash away and stay alive. Massu's already gonna grab the kill there. He will die, so it is a 2-for-1 going over to FlyQuest, but that's a lot of minions that are gonna get ate up by the turret, and FlyQuest are happy with this bottom lane early game.
And Yeon is so sad. 0-2, 15 CS, down 1.2 thousand gold. 4 minutes into the game right now. The 2 kills went over to Jose and to CoreJJ, but all 4 kills went over to Massu. Dude. That's how you start the game.
Yeah, look, Massu is all 4 of FlyQuest's kills and both of FlyQuest's death. Everything is the Corki so far in this game, as Gakgos has to flash away there from the cage from Morgan. So the Yorick having a decent time up there in top lane, but it's exactly what you said. If the bottom lane just goes completely to hell, Yorick split pushing isn't really going to be that relevant.
I have this feeling that I think is true in 2026 League of Legends with top lane role quest is if the game isn't close, top lane doesn't matter. But if the game is close, top lane matters a lot. Okay. So that's how I feel like Bin was able to impact First Stand so much, is because they were keeping the game states close, and then he would matter. But there were so many regular season games that I see in LCS where, at least last split, C9 would dominate, Thanatos would be up 40 CS, but he'd end the game like 1-0-1.
Right, it's just like,
well, impactful.
What did this actually do, right? Back over in mid lane, though, you can see Josedeodo putting on a little bit of pressure right to the Arcane from QUID to find a little bit of damage back. Both mid laners going to lose their flashes here.
Yeah, so the battle of the QUD mid laners, QUID versus QUID. Asking for the poll of spamming chat. If you think QUID or QUID is the better mid laner, make sure you're filling that out so that we can run the poll later on in the show.
Well, I also feel like whenever you have these flash-for-flash trades, the guy who has absolutely dead zero mobility in the kit is going to feel worse about that. So I want to see Team Liquid try to continue to put the pressure onto QUID now that the Xerath flash is spent. Gryffinn, however, with the control that you have over bot lane with an early 4-kill Corki, if you don't take the early Drake nice and fast, nice and effective, you're just wasting your potential. So Griffin's going to secure that one, no contest.
And now that he's level 6, he can take extra turret shots with his ultimate. So I feel like he wants to move down, but you can see everyone on Team Liquid as well just in river to try and prevent that dive. At least they're playing a little bit of defense to try and bail out this Yunara Lulu lane for now. Nice reset interrupt there by CoreJJ.
Man, this entire gold lead is just bottom lane. Wow, that is a really close contest, and QUID is just barely coming out on top.
Very close in spelling and in fan vote. So
just a vowel off either time.
Yeah, close in skill. I'd agree. That's why I like this matchup. There's a lot of respect between the two mid laners as well. I asked QUID before the show what he needs to pay attention to when he's playing against QUID, and he says he has to be really careful with his tempo. I feel like especially on FlyQuest, they were so good at playing the map and abusing tempo. So QUID has, absorbed so many of those skills with his years on FlyQuest.
All right, so I want to see how well FlyQuest will now be able to play around this hyper-fed Corki, this absolutely insanely accelerated AD carry, especially on a player like Massu that we know has the skills to pilot you to a victory with that early lead.
Yeah, absolutely. I think even with this much gold injection, he still needs to wait a little bit, but like once he hits his Trinity Force is when we're really going to start seeing it. I'm curious if they stick around bottom lane, complete the role quest, and try and kill the turret before moving elsewhere, because you can get into some weird situations where if your bot lane wins super hard, maybe you kill the turret, but your role quest is still far away. You swap early, and it can feel a little bit awkward. So I'm curious to see how they manage this.
Because you're not in the right lane. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Let's keep an eye on that as we move forward. Then just about 8 minutes on the clock. So Void Grub's about to spawn You can see Josedeodo again lurking around mid lane, wants to try to punish this immobile Xerath. This is what I was talking about earlier with the flash gone. They want to go after this. Okay, well, we get right to the arcane from QUID. He'll kill a couple minions with it, but okay.
Cleared the wave. Yeah. Successful.
Sure, it
He's
works.
playing flashless. They're playing towards bot side.
Massu just valking forward as he and Cryogen are confident in their ability to beat Core and Yeon in the 2v2, especially with Gryffinn hovering nearby. And now as this wave is about to crash, we could see yet another dive here in the bottom lane. Josedeodo is up on the top side of the map as Yeon and CoreJJ are starting to try to tank the dive. Gryffinn will soak the aggro. Yeon already popping the barrier. CoreJJ barely staying alive, but Core finally falls. FlyQuest looking for a little bit more here. They want to make sure they can get both of these guys. There should be no problem with it. Gryffinn will pick up that second kill there onto Yeon. It's a 6-2 game for FlyQuest.
On the second turret dive, I'm okay that Gryffinn took one. Massu doesn't need literally all the kills, but that's just insane snowballing of this bottom lane. From the first 2v2, they go straight back to lane. They pull off the dive. They wait a couple cycles. Gryffinn spent a long time in the bottom lane to a point where QUID had reset so he wouldn't be able to cover that dive before going for the next one. It's just really patient macro.
Wait, I think I'm 6 on this wave, so just...
Okay. They have sums. Let me poke a little bit. Just play with range, okay? We don't have to tank aggro.
We should just go.
Okay, okay. I'm going now.
Wait.
Just watch,
Okay.
watch. I'm going now.
They can't die, sorry, give tower.
Drop.
Up. Okay.
Wait for tower reset. I'll tank. Go.
Yeah, and you heard at the end, wait for tower reset, which is really important. You let the heat fall off so the turret stops doing so much damage before you go for the redive, and the wave was so big that Yeon had no chance of clearing it. Now they have Trinity Force, so Yeon, this gets worse before it gets better.
Yeah, look at the damage, man. Yeon has to flash away. He had to spend the ulti just to escape. This Yunara is completely suffocated in the early game.
And they might even be freezing the wave here, which would be really nice for them. Yeon, 45 CS at 10 minutes. When's the last time you saw sub 50 CS for Yeon CoreJJ at 10 minutes into this game? Massu, Cryogen, and Gryffinn putting in work here and freezing at just the perfect time as well.
I mean, even if you're just watching some 3 o'clock in the morning ladder game in solo queue, 82 versus 45 CS is not something that ever feels normal.
This is definitely the game where people are spending more time typing than playing at this stage. At this stage in the game, you're asking 45 CS, nice autofill bot.
Yeah, exactly.
Think twice when that's happening. This is happening to Yeon and CoreJJ on stage.
Which is crazy.
But this happens occasionally in solo queue.
All right, well, FlyQuest are certainly happier about the first 10 minutes of Game 2 than they were back in Game number 1 of this series. However, Team Liquid is trying to put the pressure on here in the top side. Obviously, bottom lane has become this critical mass of problems. You can't really play around the bottom anymore because it's such a mess. So they'll try to look elsewhere as Josedeodo jumps in after Cryogen. Burst of about half the HP on the Nami here. Cryo still trying to get away. Nice use of the Mega Gnar. There from Gakgos, keeping his support safe.
Yeah, this is the only thing Team Liquid could do, actually, to break the freeze, is to send everyone top lane. So currently, they're just trying to get Yeon up to this turret, maybe get a little bit of gold. He's been able to get one wave and now finally hit the turret a little bit, but he's far away from his role quest, so Massu's accelerated even more now since he got to stay in bottom lane. But it looks to be that Gakgos and Cryogen are just kind of okay letting Yeon farm a little bit since they're getting free farm bottom lane, better role quest completion, and the second Drake of the game for Gryffinn.
Yeah, Morgan just farming up whatever he can down here against this turbo-fed Corki with the Trinity Force. Gryffinn shows up. Morgan creates a little bit of space there with the cage. Gryffinn knocks it over. Morgan staying alive for now. Tries to flash forward to find the kill onto Massu, but he doesn't have the damage to get it done. And Massu, with the Foss Bomb, gets the kill. FlyQuest, 7-2.
It wasn't pretty, but they got it done. They had to burn 3 summoner spells and pretty much 3 ultimates, with Xerath offering the assist from the mid lane, but it just continues to accelerate Massu. That guy is at 6,500 gold 12 minutes into the game. Watching this one more time, Morgan very nearly killed him. He's got the plated steel caps. He is pretty tanky. Had a really great cage there to stop Gryffinn from being able to just walk in. And then Massu's taking so much damage from the little ghouls and the wife that he nearly dies. But the Q comes in at the end, and that could have been such a big turnaround. It just ended up falling short.
Yeah, that was almost there. You could see that when Morgan flashed forward, he didn't quite have the range to get that one single auto onto Massu that would have spelled his demise. And now Morgan back up here in the top lane, and he's about to get sent back to the fountain yet again. One more auto attack from Gakgos should do it, and FlyQuest finds kill number 8.
This has been a total bot gap, and now Gakgos is able to capitalize off Morgan dying. We also had our stats guy run some numbers. We're saying, doesn't it feel weird that Yeon is this low on CS?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the only other time Yeon has had fewer CS at 10 minutes is when he was playing Fasting Senna. So when he's actually trying to farm, this is the lowest his CSD at 10 has ever been in the LCS.
Like you have to play a strategy that specifically does not farm minions to have this number.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
2.6k gold at 13.5. That's going to hurt his stats the whole split, man.
Yeah, that one is going to drag you. I mean, look at the comparison of the items. You've got Trinity Force plus 2/3 of a way stacked tier building towards Manamune versus Rectrix and Hearthbound Axe and a Dagger.
Bro, he needs to play 7 games in a row with a gold difference at 500 at 14 minutes just to break even.
To make this not look like this. Yeah, well, QUID going forward here, trying to find the shuffle back into Massu, does hit the Emperor's Divide, but now QUID could be in some serious danger. The Corki hurts a lot. Morgan wants to swoop in and get the shutdown. It's already just a 1-for-1 though. Team Liquid needs to try to find a little bit more. Meanwhile, down on the bottom side of the map, Yeon is once more under pressure. Gryffinn with the maximum dosage though. They can't keep the Gnar protected, and the kill back onto Gakgos is the first one. Team Liquid's not going to get the second, but honestly, that was a really good sequence for them.
I mean, that's almost a full turnaround right there. Gakgos had a bounty, so Yeon collects that, getting the shutdown onto Massu, also huge, and now Jose is just behind a pretty low mobility Xerath.
Yeah, hits him with the knock up there on the 3-talon strike. Flash out from Quad, so he's going to stay alive, but again, this is the one mobility summoner spell on the completely immobile mid lane mage. Otherwise, as you can see, this is what happened bottom lane. Nice wild growth from Core.
And Gakgos is exhausted, so not building up any rage towards Gnar. By the time Gryffinn arrives, sure, you're level 10 to 2 level 7s, but like it's still Yunara Lulu. You're gonna have to walk it back. Gakgos trying to support Yeon with the killer instinct still. You really gotta credit his mental getting that kill.
Just a cringe game. Oh.
Just a cringe game.
Agreed.
We all have cringe games of League of Legends sometimes, but FlyQuest is trying to get back on track here, secure themselves a neutral objective with the Rift Herald. 15 minutes, just about 30 seconds here on the clock. You can see Team Liquid is in the neighborhood, but they really can't do a whole lot about it.
I mean, I feel like Morgan got so much gold off of that one kill onto Massu that even though he was 0-2, he's going to be such a force in the side lanes. Like, look at that 1,500 gold lead and even a 500 gold lead for the Azir. So, like, if you just don't look at this, if you just don't look at the
if you close your eyes, if they start to look towards the bottom part of the map,
then the game wouldn't be close. Honestly, 1,500 gold after how this early game has felt is insane. And I do have to credit Yeon for the kill onto Gakgos. Like, just still, a lot of times, if you have your lowest CSD at 10 in your career, you're going to check out. You're not going to see the angle to flash forward and kill the Gnar in the 2v2. So, terrible laning phase, terrible game so far by Yeon and CoreJJ, but the team is actually still in it.
Right, they were able to recover enough to find some footing, right? When you would otherwise think you're just going to get knocked on your butt. But still, Massu is the most fed person in the game. He is up 60 farm. He is up 3,000 gold. He valks away as Josedeodo has to pop the Zhao ulti. Nice CC layering coming in from Cryogen, but FlyQuest don't have the damage they need. Right to the Arcane, pouring in now from Quad. But again, it's not enough damage. Nice bubble from Cryo. But once more, FlyQuest just don't have the DPS where they need it, when they need it, so nobody dies on either side.
Yeah, Cryogen really on point with these bubbles, but the overall game you can see has definitely slowed down. It's going to become a Dragon Soul win condition because the goal lead has actually shrunk to about 1,000. You can see the side lanes are going to be really difficult for FlyQuest to play in this game. One of the reasons Xerath isn't picked, even if statistically it's good into Azir, is it's still really difficult to play in side lane.
Right.
You don't have the escape tools or the ability to deal with a jungler that almost any other pro mid has. So you're going to really organically fall behind because you're going to have to be catching a lot of waves. So if you have Xerath, you would hope that your other split pusher is super effective, but that's Gnar into Yorick, who's also going to lose that side. So the only strength that they have is their ability to control mid. and that's just not going to advance the game that much. It's going to be really hard to take over space if you only have one lane to play through. So they have to stack objectives, which they've done.
Yeah.
It just means the game is very likely going to come down to the objective fights on the Mountain Soul and the Baron.
Yeah, this Dragon fight here 4.5 minutes from now is going to be absolutely massive. It's probably going to decide the whole game itself, since we're not even 1,000 gold apart anymore. It is a 3-0 Dragon count for FlyQuest. And Mountain Soul, when you have a robust front line like a Gnar and a Mundo, is so scary.
It really is. That's the other thing that FlyQuest have, is that ticking time bomb of the Mundo, already level 12. You kind of just want to get levels and get Drakes. That's your biggest goal on the Mundo, because once you have 3-4 items and level 16, which gives you an improved ultimate for how many enemies you use around it, that's good. But here's the side lane. How's Quad going to step up?
Josedeodo just immediately jumps in after Quad, and this is kind of what you were just talking about. If Xerath walks 10 feet in front of the turret, guess what? You have no inbuilt mobility. Yeah. Your summoner spell wasn't back off cooldown from the last time you had to spend it. Zhao sees you, he just presses his buttons, you're dead. Definitely
a bit of a pathing mistake. I understand it, like, Yeon.
Back in mid lane, Yeon about to die, has to flash away. If Gryffinn hit him with one more suitcase, would have been able to follow it up with an auto attack to guarantee the kill there, but FlyQuest is going to take the turret. Tier 1 here in mid lane. CoreJJ knocked down to about 1/3 HP, has to pop the summoner heal. Second Rift Herald charge also collides with the Tier 2 turret here. I like how FlyQuest is just trying to brute force things based around Massu. Play around this fed Corki. That's the name of the game.
They really have to, because things like this happen in the side lane that we were just seeing on the Pip, where if Quad's not catching it at his turret, he's at risk of dying. I will, in defense of him, you can't really play the game literally sitting under your turret 24/7. We're not showing the waves that he actually does successfully cheat and clear.
Yeah.
You'll only see the ones where he dies, but in that instance, it's obviously, you know, a little bit hindsight to say he should have just been under his turret waiting.
All right, so we have 1,500 gold lead for both solo laners on the Team Liquid side, 3,500 gold lead for the AD carry on the FlyQuest side, as Gryffinn is once again going to look to apply some pressure to TL here in the mid lane. Wind becomes lightning from Jose onto Massu, but now TL's got to be careful. Lots of burst back into Jose as he tries to flash away, stays alive for now. Right of the Arcane continuing to rain down on these guys, but once more, FlyQuest just doesn't quite have the damage they need.
Yeah, they also are relatively low engaged, so even though they have a huge gold lead on the Corki, how do they actually advance this game? Because, as we mentioned, it's hard to play through side lanes. At least what happens when they pull 4 people down to mid lane and Xerath was ulting is he can get that one deep push. That's going to allow him to reset safely if he so chooses. So things like that kind of need to happen just to stay stable in the side lanes, even though their Corki is so far ahead.
Well, we've got 90 seconds left on the clock now until that Mountain Soul will spawn for FlyQuest, and you can see the burst onto Yeon's health bar right there. Frost Bomb and 2 autos. I'm pretty sure that's the 60% of his health.
It's a rough one. I feel bad. I feel for Yeon. What's interesting, though, is, like, Yunara Lulu, one of the reasons it's so powerful is you get to cheat a lot. Like, look at the actual items that are completed by AD carries. So it's a 3,700 gold lead, but you have 2 core, and you have, what, 2.5 core?
Yeah, I'd say Noon Quiver is an extra half.
Because the move speed of the Lulu, a lot of times Yunara doesn't upgrade boots. So he's just sitting on brown boots, but he's still fast enough with ultimate, his E with the Lulu haste, whereas Massu has upgraded his boots, hasn't finished his 3rd core item. The gold eventually will matter when you're completing your builds, but you can skip to these power spikes really nicely, as Team Liquid is now trying to use that top prio to just sneak a Baron.
Yeah, this is a pretty audacious call from TL, and FlyQuest is immediately going to sense that something is up. TL's not going to overcommit to this, so as soon as FlyQuest moves in, TL's going to back away. But TL at least drawing FlyQuest's attention towards the top side of the map, 30 seconds before the Dragon Soul will spawn. If they get this kill onto Gryffinn, that could be pretty big, but Mundo is really hard to pick off.
I mean, even if they don't get the kill, though, getting the Mundo ultimate for the Soul fight, really important there. Well, Morgan is also free pushing the bottom lane, so now with no Mundo ultimate, Team Liquid's going to be more confident trying to retake mid.
Yeah, another nice bubble onto Jose, though. Cryogen making sure he's peeling this Xin Zhao away time after time after time in these attempted engages over in the mid lane from TL. As Massu off to the right side in a little bit of danger. Now QUID going forward, the flash has responded, and Massu gets out of the way, turns it right back around, and Quad secures the kill onto QUID. With the Azir out of the picture, FlyQuest want to look for a little bit more. Flash forward from Gryffinn, a little bit more damage from the Arcano Pulse, and Massu cashes in. That's both TL carries dead. The soul is on the map, and FlyQuest couldn't be happier.
Massu is locked in. QUID just dashed and flashed and still couldn't throw him back. Then FlyQuest can turn the fight around with how long it goes. That's going to be the soul.
That is a massive, massive power spike here for FlyQuest. Mountain Soul 23 minutes into the game. Take another look at how it happened.
I understand what Team Liquid is thinking here. They need to get some level of mid-prio so they can move into the river, and they know that the Mundo has no ultimate, but when Jose moves up, he just gets pelted by Massu, and even though Xerath's in river, he can still participate in the fight, but they want to keep going. If QUID was able to get that throwback onto Massu, maybe there's an angle, but Massu's just played an incredible game.
Yeah, Massu is having a great one. Exactly the type of game that they need him to have, bouncing back after the game #1 that was just very much an avalanche for Team Liquid. And now FlyQuest, yeah, you still have about a 2,500 gold lead in terms of raw economy value, but the soul itself is worth what, like 5,000, 6,000 gold, something around that neighborhood.
Yeah.
So they're feeling way better now. You can see the Sterix gauge, second item now fully completed for Gakgos, so he'll also be able to stand up better against Morgan in the side lane, which once you're at this point where you've got the soul, you're feeling like, okay, we've got the Fed 80 carry that we can always play around in the big fights, the side lane kind of becomes the main worry.
It really does, and FlyQuest not completely out of the woods. I'd say with them being a very young team, even the games that they won early on in lock-in, they'd have big early game leads, and then the lead would kind of freeze. It would stay at 2,000 or 3,000 for a long time until the game's mechanics kind of ended the game rather than them naturally taking the steps to end it. And Team Liquid continuing to play these side lanes, and they're going to try and make this as hard as possible for FlyQuest to finish.
Yeah, Gakgos is trying to just clear out the wave here, but Jose and Morgan both hanging around, and they're just going to jump in. The Gnar bar is about to run out. Gakgos can still hop away in time. Teleport coming in from Quad to reinforce as Gryffinn also shows up to the fight, and Morgan and Josedeodo have to get away. Flash out from Morgan, keeping himself safe from the briefcases. The cage will provide him enough space to continue getting away for now. Tries to use the Morning Mist to slow down Gryffinn. Nice sidestep away at the same time, and now it's Massu under pressure. The Arc of Ruin collides with the Fed. Corki is down. He takes Yeon with him critically. 1-for-1 here from the AD carries as Morgan also escapes in the bottom lane.
And the shutdown does go to Yeon, so Team Liquid trying to stay in the game here. I wonder with their damage, if they're trying to threaten Baron, Azir and Yorick kill it pretty fast, but with no Yunara, it would be tough. I think they're just hoping for a face check, then they'd be able to take the Drake, and FlyQuest isn't getting to it.
Yeah, FlyQuest is not going to walk into this trap. They're just playing around the right side of the mid lane instead. QUID going to go ahead, use the Sun Disc to give himself a little bit of a forward operating base here back in mid, as Josedeodo should be able to secure the Baron-empowered Scuttle Crab. No problem.
Yeah, so talk about the gold lead freezing, talk about FlyQuest not being super clean with how to close the game. It's feeling like they're going to need stuff like Elder plus Baron to get this done, because, I mean, even the standing gold, like, the whole second ring of turrets is still there for Team Liquid, and that's with this being a Soul versus 0 Drakes and a 3,000 gold lead. Massu is a bit of a ticking time bomb, though. When you see these Hex Optics Corkis get the Infinity Edge and even beyond, you just start two-shotting everything in the game. It's, you know, your QR can take 75% of someone's health, and if you're ever in auto range, you're basically one-shotting them. So Massu's still going to be fine in this game. It's just almost a scrim exercise now for Team Liquid to try and make this game as hard as possible.
Right. They've got to see maybe if they can claw their way back into this one. Plus, you kind of do always have that wild card of, yeah, it sucks to lose the Dragon Soul 4-0, but what if it's just the 500 IQ play of getting the Elder on the map faster so that you can win with the inevitable win con of the Dragon Burst?
Well, Gryffinn is level 16. That's another thing that hurts.
True.
And they have, okay, QUID has made the pivot for a little bit of healing reduction, so he's got the Oblivion Orb. At least they managed to fit it in somewhere. It would be too mean to ask Yeon to build it. since he's then he's just going to get up and leave.
It's like, yeah, dude, he's actually just going to leave the stage at that point. But FlyQuest will go ahead and start up the Baron themselves right now. Gryffinn and Massu will have more than enough damage to take this down. They demand an answer from Team Liquid, but Jose and Core have already both taken a chunk of their HP on the approach. Quad just trying to provide the covering fire here. The Baron's already down to about 1/3 of its HP. Team Liquid still on the approach. Gakgos looking maybe for the Gnar pincer angle. Quad fires off the right of the Arcane. Not going to get a whole lot of value out of that one. Baron still down below 5K now. Morgan and Jose looking for their opportunity to potentially go in if FlyQuest want a full commit for this. QUID trying to spar with Gakgos a little on the approach. DPS on the Baron has almost completely stopped at this point, but it's Team Liquid health bars that are suffering the most. Morgan versus Gakgos here with a 1v1 up in the top side. It's Morgan who's going to lose out on that one if he's not careful. Team Liquid have already lost their AD carry. They've lost their top laner. They've lost this fight. Baron for FlyQuest and 3 kills to boot. QUID tries to run into the enemy jungle, but Massu and Gryffinn are ready to chase him down. FlyQuest only needs one more kill to complete the ace, and they'll get it. 5-0 plus a Baron. FlyQuest are going to take us to game 3.
Gakgos already in mid-wave with a minion. These death timers are long enough that I think FlyQuest will move in. Nice fight there. Great game by Massu and Cryogen. Look at that. 15 kill participation for Massu. Everything revolved around bottom lane. They again got 2v2 kills. And as you said, game 3's coming.
It's the 2v2 carry from the bottom lane. FlyQuest stepping up. Bouncing back here in our second game, 17-7 after 29 minutes of gameplay, and we are going the distance. Spring Split 2026, 3 series out of 3, going all the way.
9 for 9 in terms of total games that we could play. Interesting that FlyQuest is still subdued. They have some expectations for themselves that they can just beat this Team Liquid team. That was a dominating performance by the bot lane. Player of the game surely is someone from that bot lane. Lounge, what do you think?
I don't know. There's a lot of tough cases out there. Mundo's looking good, guys.
Let's not be so hasty. Maybe it was the Xerath.
Casters are always trying to game the player of the game vote.
It's gotta be Massu.
The moment the Lord Third comes out about
has to be
spamming
Massu.
chat, the casters just say it has to be from bottom lane. You're rigging the system.
Yeah.
I mean, we are also rigging this.
Actually, the analyst definitely rigs the
Yeah.
system. The caster's like, I think it would be this people, and the analyst's like, we have one more person than you.